a great practice today. They're very spirited and focused, and maybe in some way getting out there on Monday while they were sore after a difficult game. Tuesday being off was better for them this week as they move forward. Duke's got a really good running game. We haven't stopped the run well. They've got very good special teams. We haven't been very good. We haven't been consistent. Their front seven is really good. The two ends are as good as we'll play. And the secondary is much improved over last year. Their team, to me, is very much like a situation we had with Virginia and Florida State. They're better teams than their record. And if Duke hadn't turned the ball over so many times, their record would be much, much better. So we've got our hands full, and we got to play good on Saturday to have a chance to win. Questions?
All right, group, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. Today's first question will come from Jacob Turner.
Hey, Mack, you've mentioned before, during the season, you can kind of tell if your team's prepared kind of midweek. Obviously, you guys had a little bit of a weird day yesterday with the election. How much more difficult has that made it to kind of get the feel for where your team's at right now in terms of preparing for Duke and kind of what their mindset is going into that game?
Oh, Jacob, we can throw that out because we had a great week's practice last week.
Mm-hmm.
So,
good point.
Went into the game, so it's probably the best week's practice we've had. So the guys practice hard about all the time. Every now and then we'll have a day that's not quite as good, and I usually bring it up. But they're trying. I'm excited about this team moving forward. They're resilient. They're tough. They've handled this COVID stuff incredibly. We've had a lot of kids that have made a mistake in a game that have really hurt us, and they keep fighting back and do it with tremendous pride. So we're about to be really good. I don't know when it is, but I'm excited about the future of this team.
Okay, let's move over to CL Brown.
Hi, Mac. This is kind of insignificant but significant Saturday. After the game last year with the Victory Bell, in terms of, getting it back from Duke and there being a little kerfuffle. I was wondering, is there any change to how that's going to be handled this year? Like, will it be somebody bring it to behind a goalpost or something so there wouldn't be any interaction between the teams if it changes hands?
Yeah, CL, it's easy to say Liberty Bell on the day after election, so I got you. That's okay. That's fair. I've got a whole lot on my plate, and I got a lot of things I've got to fix, and the Victory Bell is not one of them where it is during the game. But I did suggest last year that we keep it away from the bench of one of the two teams. So after the game, that one's not fighting with the other over it. So thanks for bringing that up. I haven't thought about it. I'll bring it up this afternoon to the administration.
All right, and back to actual football. I was wondering what difference in like character and charisma do you see with the Brown brothers at receivers, Diami and Coffrey?
Yeah, we're lucky we've got the Fox brothers and the Brown brothers, and that's it, isn't it, Jeremy? We only have two sets, I think. But those guys are just super. They're probably the fastest two players on our team. They make dynamic plays. They work really hard. They're great young people. So we're really, really lucky to have both of them on this team.
All right, thanks, Coach.
And I do think Chopper's probably faster than Diami. He'd fight you on that one, but I think he is.
All right, our next question comes from Greg Barnes.
Hey, Mac, with regard to Duke's pass rush, is that really just a matter of those two defensive ends being so good, or are they doing anything unique defensively?
They're well coached. They move them around a lot, and they have a lot of movement with their defensive front. But those two guys are really special pass rushers. I mean, they are hard to block, and their numbers show that. Their numbers are so much better than ours at that position. So they're very good players.
And Phil Longo told us a week or so ago that pass blocking out of play action, he thought the line was doing pretty good. It was in the straight drop backs where it had been an issue. Have you seen growth in that area the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, we messed it up. They had their cross blitz with the linebackers at Virginia, and we messed it up 2 or 3 times inside. So I thought we were making a lot of progress till we weren't.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next question comes from Aaron Beard.
Hey, Mac. I know you've addressed this idea, I think, a few times at various points, but you're focused more on your team, getting them ready. You don't probably focus as much on the other team, but how do you sort of balance that with Duke has turned the ball over at a rate no one else in the country has done? The idea of you've been talking about getting takeaways, but you're playing a team that may be more prone to them. How much do you talk about that versus your focus on yourself?
Yeah. Aaron, are you out for the weekend? Are you hurt?
I am recovering from elbow surgery, so I am inactive this weekend.
But I'm seeing a lot of that around here, so I just wondered if you were hurt. I just left practice with them hanging around with some injuries. No, we talk about tipping the ball and stripping the ball every week. We talk about trying to stop guys on first down, so we've got them in second long, third and long, and we haven't done a great job of that. And that's where you usually get your turnovers. But we've got to plan on Duke playing their best game, and we've got to try to force turnovers, but we can't plan on them turning the ball over. And we saw that Virginia played their best game against us. Florida State played their best game against us. Wake Forest got a week off before we play them next week. Duke had a week off before Charlotte. So we're getting good shots here. We've gotten a lot of publicity, and people have talked about us. The expectations are up, and that makes the other team hyped. So we'll see a really good Duke team on Saturday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, let's go over to Taylor Vippolis.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Joffrey Brown, but what have you seen from Emery Simmons as he's kind of come to his own as a sure-handed possession receiver the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, Taylor, Emery's he's such a good football player. He's on every special team. He's tough. He's smart. He blocks well. He's got tremendous hands. He runs excellent routes. I think everything he does, he does it with a purpose, and he's very, very unselfish. He never griped one moment about not playing with Diami playing in front of him, and understood how we needed Diami in the ball game. And then when Bo Corrales got hurt, he stepped right in and moved to the other side and didn't miss a beat. So we're really, really pleased with Emery.
Now, that's something that Emery mentioned, just being able to stay patient, that like next man up mentality. Is there anything that you guys have to do as a staff to kind of remind the younger guys that there might be people in front of you, but you have to stay ready?
Yeah, Taylor, we constantly remind them there's 120 players on this football team, and only 11 can play at a time. And you've got to earn your right to play. And when you get in there, you got to play good. And it's, you all have asked me a few times, but 100%, we're trying to balance playing a lot of the young, really talented guys and still having a chance to win the game, because our future is great, but we need to win, and winning is very important. So we're continuing to push ourselves to do that. And with Emery, he deserved to get more playing time before, but it's hard to take Diami out of the game because he's got a chance to score every time he touches it. So our players are smart. They're really good people. We've told them all that if you don't like your playing time, play better and build trust with your coach. And then in the end of the year, if you don't want to stay and you don't think the coach is giving you a fair shake, come talk to us and we'll help you go somewhere else if that's what you want to do. So that's just we're very, very honest and direct with them about playing time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, our next question comes from Ross Martin.
Hey, Mac, this question's from Gregory Hall, whose microphone is not working, but he wants to ask about penalties and how you've addressed them this week, and the situation with having a lot of penalties that cost your team against Virginia.
Yeah, we actually had fewer, I think, at Virginia than we've had in any other game. The ones that we had were really bad. I think we had 6. I don't have it sitting here in front of me, but is that correct? And we had one unsportsmanlike. We had one holding and one late hit that or hitting on the pile, whatever they called it. And those are things you just have to handle. Unsportsmanlike is unacceptable at all. It's not being frustrated and keeping your composure when things aren't going well usually. Don's a hard one because he was being physical and trying to help his teammates, and holding you can't have. It's cost us a touchdown. So there's 3 others in there, but those 3 were just penalties that really hurt us.
Okay, let's move over to Mark Armstrong.
Mack, David Cutcliffe yesterday characterized this as the grocery store rivalry because you see your friends and neighbors, I suppose, I guess is where he's going. What do you think personifies what this specific rivalry is about?
Mark, with us, the state, Wake and Duke, we have a lot of players from the state of North Carolina, and they have to live here when they get through, or get to live here, let's say, when they get through. And rivalries are about your fans and your boosters and families. And a lot of these families are split when you start looking at these 3 or 4 schools. And you do, David's right. You see them at church, you see them in the grocery store, you see them at work. And it's bragging rights for your fans and your family. These don't go away. You lose some games and people might remember it, like Art remembering Virginia from 27 years ago or something. That some people, they never go away. But usually when people ask players from one of these schools, they'll say, what was your record against Duke? What was your record against NC State when you played? What was your record against Wake? And those hold a little bit more weight than some of the others.
All right, on cue, we've got Art Chansky. Go ahead there, Art.
There we go, Art.
Mac, please don't hold it against me that I'm older than everybody here and that I have a better memory.
Yeah, that's one thing we won't discuss.
Yeah, I know. I can tell. Look, about you had some goals for yourself. One of them being don't take losing as hard as you did before. But this has been a weird year. A lot of different things have happened. How are you doing with that goal?
I'm doing well. I get down on Saturday nights after tough games, and I'm doing really well. If we play poorly and win, I'm appreciating a win. It's really hard to win. As I said the other day, we're like a lot of other people in that top 30, top 25. So we have to play well every week to win. We can't ever walk out there and not play well. And my job is to continue to fix things, and that's what we're having to do right now each week. And usually as a coach that doesn't go away. But like always, Monday you go back to work and get ready for the next week. And I'm enjoying trying to help these young people learn from winning, so they can be stronger after a win and not get full of themselves and not play as well the next week, and also fight back after a tough game and a loss, and not let one loss beat you twice. So that's my job, along with the COVID, the social injustice. And I'm really proud of our guys this week with the election. I mean, I think they all voted, and we discussed it a little bit this morning. But I told them to be smart with their social media and be smart with their opinions, and because it's a very emotional thing for a lot of people. So don't just get out there and start talking about something until you really know what you're talking about.
How does this team rank with a lot of your others in terms of, you praise them a lot, really good kids, work hard, smart, all that. Is it one of the best teams you've ever had in that regard?
It is. These guys have done everything right. I was surprised last year because they'd struggled so much the previous 2 years that they worked so hard. I thought and that's a credit to Coach Fedora and his staff, but they've acted right. They've stayed out of trouble, and they work really hard at practice. When I say they didn't work as hard, I mean quite as hard. Maybe they had a little soft day every now and then, but I'm really proud of these young guys. And like I said, with their attitude, a lot of young players coming back next year, and we're adding a tremendous recruiting class. The future's very bright, so I'm excited about it.